Did you know that Michael Jackson wanted the part of the Phantom himself? Yeah! Get it, Robert. Get it.
Moonwalk. Hello! I am Robert.
Hello, I'm Roberta.
Today's movie is The Phantom of the Opera.
From 2004.
The musical version.
With Emmy Rossum, directed by Joel Schumacher.
Also Gerard Butler.
Love him.
Patrick Wilson.
Great.
We're going to be contrasting it a little bit with the 1925 silent, black and white, original film, Phantom of the Opera, starring Lon Chaney Sr.
And a whole bunch of other people.
Whom we won't mention because I can't remember their names. Did you know, allegedly, all the principals in this show did their own singing, except for Minnie Driver, who plays Carlotta the Diva. They say, although she's trained as a singer, allegedly, not an opera singer, so they dubbed her stuff. Do you think that everyone else really sang?
Yeah, I do. Maybe not, maybe they lip sync during the filming, but for the soundtrack, yeah, sure.
I mean, I think they did. We've heard Patrick Wilson sing in some of the Conjuring movies. Emmy Rossum is a beautiful voice.
Mm-hmm.
She's like 16 when this was filmed. Did you know that?
No.
She's 16, and she has there's a lot of kissing in this movie. I mean, it's a love story, you know. There's a lot of kissing. And there's one particular scene where she's like making out, and they did a bunch of takes. She's making out with Patrick Wilson, and they did so many takes, like they had to like ice her lips down between takes because they were swelling up.
That's dedication to the craft.
It's gross.
It's craft.
Craft. Whatever.
Grow up, Robert.
I would say, not that he's not a great actor, but the weakest singer of the bunch is, who am I thinking?
You're thinking Gerard, but it's not fair.
But it's true.
But it's not fair.
But it is true.
But it's not fair.
He was the weakest singing performance in this show.
He sang very emotively.
This is not a horror movie.
Don't get me fired up.
It's not a horror movie. This is a movie.
There's some parts
oh my god.
that are gothic, that are, spooky nature. There's a layer. There's masks. Masks are very horror. Very horror. I would know.
This is a screen adaptation of the Broadway musical. Now, if you were to contrast it with the 1925 original film, which I have done, the original film, even though it's silent, I think actually has some honest moments of terror in it. So I would say that's actually a scarier movie than this one. However, the music is way better in this one. Every time that Phantom Overture came on, I loved it.
You're transported to another world. That is the power of music. Please don't sing. Please.
Don't.
Please?
No worries. My least favorite part of the film. So the Phantom, who by the way has a crappier backstory in this rendition than in the original novel or the original film, but he's got a life-size doll of Emmy Rossum in his underground lair beneath the opera house. And they made one. The special effects guys made one, but it didn't look good on camera. So what they did was, when it was time to show the scenes of this, or the shots of this doll, is they had Emmy put like a veil on and made her up, and that's actually her in those scenes. But boy, did they really shot it very poorly. Like I didn't realize that was a doll or a mannequin.
Oh, I did.
Until the end of the movie. I thought it was just like artsy infatuation shots.
That's like you're in an online relationship with somebody and then you finally get to go to their place and you find they have a wax doll that looks just like you.
How many times has that happened to you?
That happens to everybody.
It's only happened twice to me. But in the film you don't see the doll in contrast to another living person until, like, I don't know, the last third of the movie or something. So you see these shots of a perfectly still Emmy Rossum, and you're like, yeah, I don't understand.
She looked waxy.
Not to me.
She was waxy.
No, not to me.
She was definitely waxy,
Well,
and the fact that she was placed there, it looked like ceremonial or like it was a shrine to her. You could totally get that. But another problem I had was that when he brought her into the lair, he brought her into the bedroom first. Now, I feel like that's a critical error. You should have started in a neutral room, like the kitchen or the living room,
I don't think
and
he
then
had
made
those.
her feel...
He had a room with an organ
He had
in
a
it.
huge
He had a
moat,
bedroom.
but he didn't have a kitchen.
He had a
What
moat?
kind of planning is this? Robert, help me.
Let's
He
talk-
can't.
let's-
He's not thinking logically.
Let's talk about, so in the stage play, there is no horse. But in this movie, he throws her, when he's taking her down from the opera house into his lair, there's a horse. He throws around the horse and clippity clop. Well, that's a throwback to both the novel and the original movie, where he was so far
Tip of the
friggin'
hat.
underground, he had to have a horse to take him, part of the way. But and then there's another reference. If you don't know the original story, it's lost on you. And I don't think it was in the musical either. Somebody says, "Remember, while we're going to look for the Phantom, you got to keep your hand at eye level." Well, what does that mean? It's because he was a rope knot master, like your boyfriend, But he hung people using the Punjab noose or the Punjab lasso. So people would be walking along, and this loop of rope would come down. Oh, Jesus Christ! And the rope would come down, and he'd hang him because he was an expert at knots. And
there's nothing more scary than a rope master.
But the way to do that is to hold your hand up here, so that if something goes around your arm and it doesn't go around your neck, and you don't get strangled. But
So this is supposed to fend off the ropes?
No, you could just leave it there, kind of like
What if
this.
he grabs you by the hand and yanks?
But that won't kill you.
We digress.
It bothered me. There's a lot of goofs and errors. Boom mic appears in the scene a lot. I mean, it happens, but it happens a lot in this film. The song "Point of No Return," by the way, that's a phrase that is based on air travel. It's the point at which if you go beyond it, you won't have enough fuel to turn around and head back home. But, of course, Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote this song. I guess he didn't know that, because this is set, back at the turn of the century, and they didn't even have planes. So, whatever. I could split hairs.
Well, the Phantom's very possessive and very controlling. And when he says past the point of no return, he's forcing her to commit to him, which is so classic him.
Look, it's no secret that we picked this movie for you. I wasn't a fan. You're the big, romance lovey-dovey crap. I want stabbing and horror and stuff like that. So what do you have to say about this film?
I will say that musically it is divine, and there are gothic and spooky elements within. However, in terms of horror films, I do take your critique that it is not exactly scary.
I don't disagree.
It can be disturbing.
The music was lovely. Lines from the movie.
Pitiful creatures of darkness, what life have you known?
I hear that a lot. Fear can turn to love. You'll find the man behind the monster.
I hear that a lot. Too late for prayers and useless pity.
My priest said that a lot when I was an altar boy.
Robert.
Now it's time to rate this movie with pumpkins.
4.5 pumpkins for me.
See, I don't know what we give it, because as a horror film, since I don't believe in zeros, I'd give it a half.
But 1 more for the layer.
But
2 more for the costume.
I mean, as a beautiful musical,
yes.
And for Emmy Rossum, who's gorgeous, I'll give it a 3. But it's not scary.
But it's good. Not scary, but good.
Not scary at all.
Good, but not scary.
Not scary at all.
But good and still not scary.
And not scary.
Definitely not scary at all.